Hello hobby mechanics. In this video I'm going to talk about the tools that you need to change your wheels, and not just in case of the flat tire, but at least here in Germany we used to have two sets of wheels, one with the summer tires, another with the winter tires. And I will also talk especially about the tools that you need for safe wheel change on BMWs. It's a little bit specific, although not just about BMWs. It's basically about most of the modern cars, at least German produced cars. So you might need some special adapters for Porsche or some other brands, but here I'm going to focus to BMW. So to begin with, you need a car jack, hopefully with a wide saddle. I will talk about it later. Then you need a jack stand. Then you need a four-way brace. You need gloves to keep your hands soft. Then you need a torque wrench, and then you need some sockets for your bolts. In case of BMW, the socket is 17 millimeter. I will start with explaining the procedure. So I used to first position the car jack underneath the car and find the right jacking point. So BMWs have rectangular shaped jacking points which are hollow inside, and in order to lift up the car safely, it's very good to have some adapter like this. So this one is made from aluminum. It can be rubber one also, but I prefer aluminum because I have bad experience with the rubber version. So you have to center this exactly at the jacking point on your car and then start lifting. So it goes like here, and then when you start lifting, you have to put this exactly into that rectangular hole. Lift the car a little bit, then use the four-way brace to loosen the bolts a little bit. Then at the top bolt, you take it out completely and put this pin in order to hold the wheel when you take it out. This is very useful, not maybe that much for the removing the wheel, but for mounting the other wheel, it's really useful thing to have. So this is four-way brace. Like I said, for BMW you use a 17 millimeter socket. This is a long version. There are also shorter versions like this maybe, but the longer version you might need if you have a bigger wheels and a bigger offset. So it might be necessary not for the four-way brace, but later for torque wrench, because otherwise you may hit the edge of the tire and it can be even impossible to do the wrenching properly. So after releasing the bolts and removing the top one of them and putting the pin, I usually lift up the car enough that I can remove the wheel, then release the rest of the bolts and take it out. Yes, it's always good to have a jack stand. There is no place really to put it when you have the car jack, but you just put it somewhere close to the car jack, and just in case that if the car jack fails, that your car crash on the jack stand and not on your legs or something. In this case, I also have BMW adapters. they can be useful in this case as well, because the top is flat and the original top is not flat, it's curved a little bit like this. So, and I got this rubber with this, but I like it better to be flat. And in case that you want to lift your car at 4 jack stands, then you lift it usually at the center, and then you can use completely this adapter here to put it in the jacking points. Yes, so why I actually bought this car jack recently, because I didn't like the old one, and here I have the old one. The old one costed about 40 euros. And it worked well, but the problem was that this saddle here is quite narrow. I think it's like 60 millimeters. It's quite narrow, and it's difficult to find adapter for this, or actually impossible. So I bought this rubber and tried to adapt it, to use it with the jack, but as you can see, it's pretty much deformed after some years, and it's almost unusable. So this is why I decided to get a new car jack with a wide saddle like this. So this is, I think, let's measure it quickly, but I think it's like 11 or 12 centimeters in diameter. No, it's 10, but it's quite enough for adapters. So there is no problem to put things like this. You can choose some other kind as well, it's no problem. And the other benefit of this car jack is that it has 2 pistons, so it's much faster to lift. You need less pushes. It's maybe like 4 or 5 pushes and you're done. The car is lifted enough and you can do the job. So after removing the wheel, you put a new one. You can use this as a guide. So again, for the top positioned hole or socket, and then you attach the wheel onto this and just move it a little bit, and it's going to keep it much easier at a position where you can put the bolts inside. Without this, it's quite difficult to find the right point, because there are no guides normally on BMW and on many other cars. So I suggest to get this tool. This is 14 millimeter and the thread is 1.25. For other cars, you might need some different dimensions. And at the end, after I tied the wheels with this 4-way brace, I tied them by hand as much as I can. Then I low down the vehicle, and then I use the torque wrench. And the torque for BMW, for newer BMW, is 140 Newton meters. I think it's for the 14 millimeter bolts, and the older ones, I think they have 12 millimeters, and in such case you use 120 Newton meters. And that's it. Now I can use some Man Additive Bavarian beer, and see you in the next video. Bye.